Aloha and welcome back. So today's going to be the last video in the card series for the Simon Says Stamp September card kit called Sea Treasure. So I'm starting with card number 5, and I'm taking some of that specialty paper that came in the kit and I'm cutting it down with the Spellbinders die cut for a background. And off camera I also colored in and fussy cut the mermaid here. I colored her in with my Spectrum Noir pens. And I'm going to be making this into a shaker card. So I took the next smallest die from that set and I cut a frame and a backing for my shaker card. I'm going to be taking this panel here and I'm just going to be inking it up with some Distress Oxide antique linen. Okay, and then when I'm finished inking up the panel, I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of water and let that air dry. So this is basically how I'm going to be laying out the card, and then I'm going to leave a white frame around it. Okay. And so I took the same die and I cut out from some fun foam so that I didn't have to fuss around with foam tape or anything. And it fits perfectly, so I'm just going to glue that onto that piece there. And adding some acetate to my panel. And I just take a microfiber cloth and just wipe off any smudges on the acetate before I adhere it to the foam backing. Okay, I'm going to be adhering the foam backing to my white card base. Using some liquid adhesive. And using the liquid adhesive, I'm also going to be attaching the specialty paper to the back. At this point, I put in my elements to the shaker card. I'm using some flat iridescent sequences to kind of mimic the look of bubbles. I'm going to be adding as well some white glitter, and then attaching my top panel with some strong double-sided tape. Here I am going to be embossing my sentiment with some of that embossing powder that came in the kit. And I'm stamping out the sentiment. It says "Mermaid looks good on you." I'm going to be using a labels die cut and cutting out my little sentiment. Okay, and I did ink around the edge of my sentiment strip with the antique linen as well. And here I'm just attaching the mermaid with some double-sided adhesive. I use score tape on this, and I do have all of my elements taped down on my shaker card, so I did glue down my white frame as well. So attaching my mermaid there, and I did figure that I'm also going to be attaching my sentiment strip with some score tape as well. Okay, so at this point I figured that the mermaid had a little bit of she wasn't sturdy on the part that hangs over the shaker window. So I'm just going to add some foam tape and just kind of sliding it underneath to make her sturdy. Okay, so I'm just showing you a close-up here. I did use my Spectrum Noir glitter pen to add some glitter to the white frame there. And that is the shaker card. Okay, so let's move on to card number 6 and the final card in this card series. I'm going to be using some of the Distress Oxides that came in the kit, the Stormy Sky and the Tumbled Glass. I'm going to be inking that onto a Bristol smooth cardstock. and I did tape off or mask off the bottom portion. I'm going to be doing like an underwater theme card or scene card. So I wanted to leave a little space for some sand. And then coming in with a tumbled glass, I'm going to just put it at the top of my panel there, blending it in. And I'm just going to go back and forth between the two colors and just trying to get a smooth transition between the colors. For the last card, I did want to keep it pretty simple, but I wanted to also showcase other elements in the card kit, like the other stamps. So I think this card did that justice. Okay, so I'm gonna ink a little bit of antique linen for the sand and spritz the whole panel down with some water and then wipe that up with a towel. And I did stamp out my elements onto some Bristol smooth cardstock, and I'm gonna be using my clean color brush pens to color in my elements here. And I didn't leave in the coloring because I had showed you on a previous card how to do the coloring. But if you guys are interested in seeing like all of the coloring, I absolutely can do that. Just leave in the comments below if that's something you're interested in seeing. Okay, so I'm just going to color all of my elements there with the brush, clean color brush markers, and then I'm going to fussy cut every one of those out. Okay, so I fussy cut everything and just showing you here my layout of the card. I'm going to be using my Misty and I'm going to stamp on my sentiment, and also with that treasure chest there's like little pieces on the bottom that I wanted to make sure I stamped on in the sand. Makes it look like it's sitting on a mound of sand. And the sentiment is that sentiment from the card, the stamp set says there are a million fish in the sea, but you are a mermaid. So adhering everything with some matte multimedia. Real simple card. Besides the fussy cutting, it came together really quickly. And I like the way that the water splatters in the back makes it look like bubbles and really under the sea. I did scatter about the blue and yellow fish, and then I wanted to keep my purple ones together, kind of like if they're in a school of fish. Okay. So I did want to add from the card kit, the stamp set, they had all these little bubbles. So I wanted to add the bubbles to the card. So I took some of the distress inks that I used on the ocean, the tumbled glass and the stormy sky, and I just randomly stamped like a bunch of bubbles. I mean, there are a ton of bubbles on this, but I really wanted it to use it as a filler and to make sure it really looked like it was under the sea. So I'm gonna be going between the two colors, and then I used some of my Nouveau drops, the clear, to add some dimension to some of the bubbles. Okay, and that is card number 6. So here are some still shots of the 2 final cards that I made with this card kit. It was so much fun and absolutely a stamp set that I will be using over and over again. It really just took, I got to use so many different colors because it was such a fantasy type of stamp set. So it was so fun to do all the coloring and put all these projects together. I love this mermaid. It's so cute. And then my last card here. And it came out so amazing. And on the inside of the card, I did stamp just with the tumbled glass distress oxide, one of the mermaid stamps. Okay, so thank you so much for sticking with me through this card series. I will see you on the next video. Mahalo for watching.